Croeso all, welcome back everyone to Fearless in Devotion, the Wrexham AFC podcast, sponsored by the Fat Boar Bar and Restaurant and the wider Fat Boar Group. Andy, what are you doing? Why are you so
It's the
excited?
OG. It's the OG lineup.
The OG lineup,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Reese hosting.
Yes.
Don't know, like Liam throwing bombs from the side, Tim eating. Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
the
eating. I got told off last week for it because I was starving and somebody was having a go. Like, it's very distracting. Just listen to it on Spotify then.
I
Don't
keep
eat it.
getting people coming up to me talking to me about Andy Gilpin's head movements or stuff like that. I'm like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do about Andy Gilpin's nervous tics? I'm not going to shut them
What
down.
do you want me to do about? I can't stop moving.
Yeah.
Apparently, people want you to just be there like a statue still. Is the feedback I've been getting?
I'm an all-action podcaster.
Yeah, well, I think you look great, Andy, obviously, as always. We got loads to discuss this week, loads to discuss, lots of footballing content. But before that, we have a very, very special announcement. Some of you may have already seen this on your social media feeds this week, but Fearless in Devotion Live is back. Andy, you're sharing your screen. Tell us more.
Don't worry. There's nothing on here that can ever get me cancelled. Right,
Good.
yeah. So before the Charlton match, it's the 25th, Friday the 25th of October. It's the London Welsh Centre, which is an iconic venue. Now, we got two guests confirmed, Glenn Little and Danny Wright, which is absolute
Very
mayhem
cool.
before we even begin. But we are hoping to get other people. We can't really say who they are until they've absolutely confirmed, but they're all great. So it's going to be a real good night. I think doors at 6, starts at 7:30. We'll go through to 10:30. There'll be one or two panels. Be plenty of chat. It'll be just like the My Squid night, but on tour. So if you're coming down early, come and see it. If you're not coming down early, change your plans. Come and see it. If you're a Wrexham fan who has been brought in by the documentary, if you're from down south and you haven't been to a match or anything, well, come to this. This is a good introductory event. Everyone is welcome. It's £10. The money goes to charity. So if you're in America and you just want to give some money to the Miners Rescue Project, you don't even have to come. Just come buy a ticket, and it will all go to that very worthy cause. So I'm really looking forward to it. Me and Tim are confirmed. I've heard there might be a Reese Williams. I'm a Reese Williams.
It's possible. It's negotiations are ongoing. It's possible. I'm coming to Charlton, and so I've got very little excuse, haven't I? But so I'm not going to commit yet. I'm gonna draw the jeopardy out a bit over the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to get a big rush of tickets there when I confirm.
Or people handing them back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more likely. But yeah, lots to look forward to. Anyway, let's get on to the football. Yeah, amazing bounce. Oh, Andy, do you want to say something?
No, I was just going to say newsletter. Please subscribe. It's back to the full price, but it's really worth it. We had a really good chat on last week about Wrexham's demise because they'd lost the game. So it's good to. It's good to put that one to bed. But yeah, please get it. It's you won't be disappointed. I think anyone who has got it has been pretty pleased with the offering. So yeah.
And if any of you are disappointed, Andy will apologize in person.
Yeah, I'll come around to your house
and give you money back.
Yeah, I
will. Anyway, on to the football this week. Wrexham bounced back after a 0-0 draw with Leyton Orient and a 1-0 loss on Tuesday night away at Stevenage. And it was a pretty emphatic 4-1 win against Northampton Town. Pretty good to be back on track, Liam.
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable game yesterday. It was I think this week was one of those moments though where you notice those stark contrasts between our home and away form. I watched the game on Tuesday night, highly frustrating, and everyone around me was saying the same yesterday. They're like, this is how we play at home, front foot, really positive. And it just feels like those away games we're playing sort of 10, 20 yards further back. So I think for the first time, really, because last season when we had the whole Paul Mullin versus, well, I think it was Tim and Andy, wasn't it? That was who he was slagging off, Paul Mullin, the away day boys. I wasn't on their side, but I've got to be honest. When you see those contrasts now, it is slightly frustrating because Ryan Barnett can get to the byline and put in, well, what was it, 3-4 good crosses yesterday. You know we can play really good positive football with Andy Cannon combining down the right. So really enjoyable day, but also just that contrast. I would just love to see a bit more of that away from home.
This is what it's all about. 4-1 win, instant negative. Absolutely love it. More people come around to my way of thinking. Thank you very much. Only joking, Liam. Ryan Barnett told the BBC afterwards that the ovation he had when he was substituted was, up there with the best moments of his career. And it really was deserved, wasn't it, Tim? He was on fire, being one of our best players this year. And he's really, really stepped up, hasn't he?
Yeah, massively. I think probably taken a few people by surprise because he's come into the team and then just gradually just grown and grown. We saw last season what he could do, that really nice volley against Forest Green. It was adding finishes to his overall repertoire of what he can do, really. But I mean, he's just been unbelievable this year, and he just does what he's supposed to do. It's as simple as that, which is put in quality deliveries into the box time after time after time. And he did exactly that yesterday. He didn't let, I think one of the early ones he did before the first goal, I think it was overhit, but he didn't let that bother him. Just thought, right, I just need to get in that position again. They're really getting the width of the pitch and they're sort of spreading the Northampton defenders thin. And he just had the beating of his man every time. And the fact that he's got the backing of his manager, all the players have said that was one of the best individual performances they've seen by a Wrexham player for some time in terms of what his overall game and his overall input was just brilliant. And I was thinking about this before. I was like, well, how far can he go? Because the leaps where you think we got him from, 1 minute he's at Solihull Moors, next minute we're like, is he championship quality level? Probably. I mean, there's going to be arguments for and against it, but just the speed of it, his awareness of where the man he's trying to pick out. He's not just thumping it in the box aimlessly in the hope somebody's going to get there. He's always looking for somebody, and they've kind of worked on this whole backstick boys sort of scenario again, haven't they? With McClean coming in off that channel and just doing what he did, with 2 goals. So yeah, delighted for Barney because he's super, super nice guy, really humble. He won't brag about having 3 or whatever assists he got yesterday. He just keeps himself grounded, and I like that. And to me, it's just an old throwback to the old-fashioned wingers of yesteryear, where the socks are down, they hit the byline, they whack it in, and they just let the others kind of take the credit for it. So I'm glad that he got the man of the match, the sponsors man of the match yesterday. Thankfully, after so many questionable ones in the past. So thank you to Seeker for getting that one right this time.
Well, Tim, in our program agenda for this podcast, which you write, you have written an incredibly inflammatory question, which is he better than Carlos Edwards?
No more inflammatory than you saying Carlos Edwards is a right wing back. So we can take it back to
no. He was a right wing back. I think Reece tried to call him a right back.
We had a 4-4-2 formation, and I wanted him in at the back because I'm on a very attacking. I got a very attacking philosophy. But anyway, Tim, is he that good?
I love Carlos for obvious reasons. Share his surname, wrote about him in Red Passion for many, 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 many years. He had that flair. It was something a bit different having a sort of Trinidadian in your team. It's something a little bit out there that we've not had before. But he backed it up. He walked the walk, and he ended up playing in the Premier League. So he deserved that move, and it's unfair unless I see the actual, the sort of all the data and whatnot to really compare. But I suppose what I should have said, he's the most exciting winger that we've had personally since him in terms of what he brings to the table. Yeah. That he's always, as soon as he gets that ball, people are off their seats because they're like, what's going to happen here. He's going to have a go, and if the defender does get the better of him, he'll have another go, and then he'll beat him next time. So it's always that aspect of him just going forward and being the outlet all the time. And he's probably, if not the main attacking outlet we've got at this moment in time, just because of what he brings to the team. So delighted for him. Is he better than Carlos? I'll let people out there decide on that one. I think what I should have said is the most exciting wing back we've had since Carlos.
That's well recovered there.
Yes, good recovery. That's right wing back. Left wing back, Andy McClean. Do you feel like he silenced his doubters yesterday? Got an assist, 2 goals. Pretty solid performance.
Who are you saying a doubters? Me?
You coming at me, say that. I couldn't possibly comment.
I think I don't think McClean's had a bad season. He's had a better season than I expected him to have at this level. Because
And that's because your opinion of him is so low.
Well, I mean, I thought he was a little bit suspect last season. I really did, and I thought if you really had a go at us, you could get at James McClean down the left. But tell you what, they've tightened up. They've tightened up a lot. Going back to Barney, I wonder if that's like a career-defining performance. And what I mean by that is sometimes something is just so complete for a player that they never really look back from it. And even if they do have a bit of patchy bad form, they can always think back to how good they were. And it happened with Carlos, to be honest, because Carlos wasn't first choice by any means, but had a couple of brilliant games in that promotion season, and it really sort of made his career. I think and I hope Barney might be the same. What I will say about Barney is, I again, like McClean, I was questioning could he do it in League One. Well, he's answered me absolutely emphatically. I wonder about his defensive sort of some frailties, but to be honest, he's quick enough to get back in and make a challenge. And even if he's not doing like a full McClean sort of sliding tackle, he's doing enough to put their guys off, or he's getting in the way. The last thing on McClean, and it sort of harks back to what Liam was saying earlier. I went to the two aways, and there's a difference between away Barney and home Barney. Now, away Barney might get past someone, but there'll be no one in the box. And that may be just because the way the Wrexham are set up. I still think they're trying to find the right balance away from home. And I still think it's more about containment away from home rather than really going at a team. And it's weird how they changed that mindset so much. It's like you go away from home and you know that the home team are really going to be all over you for the first 20 minutes. And a lot of the times we've been able to sort of repel that and then build our own sort of foundation. Now, the last couple of times we haven't been able to do that and get the win. So I still think there's a shift there that we have to, a switch even that we have to sort of pull to go, right, this is how we give the home team something to think about and not just sit back for the first sort of period of the match and hope that we can hang on.
I wonder, Andy, whether the squad needs you in there, like as a psychological counselor of some description, to kind of get that mindset.
I mean, I'm the new Sam. Is it Sam Qatada? I could be him.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get Sam back on so he can answer this question: why are we so great at home and not as good away?
Yeah, it's a good question. Let's go through more of the team quickly. Another really solid performance for Arthur. Tim, some good saves.
Yeah, it was one of those ones because there was always a danger the way we play, I suppose, at home that they are going to break and they are going to get some shots away. And I think what he did, probably more for the cameras, to be honest. Those kind of saves, I like those saves. It's like when he first came into the side last season, made some great saves at Mansfield, full stretch kind of ones, and I kind of feel like he hasn't had many kind of ones to really test his agility for a while. In that sense, they've been quite either point blank or hit with some sort of ferocity, but these were both kind of like sort of headed flick-ons, I think. Or there's one shot, I think it was Tyler Roberts, maybe with both of them. And I just thought his reading of the game is really good. He's always watching the flight of the ball. He's kind of aware of where his defenders are, where the attackers are. I just think his overall reading the game is getting better the more time he's got on the pitch. And, we've got to remember how young he is still and all this sort of stuff. But I just thought he's really, really good. Just his distribution was good, his overall calmness, and just that link in with the defence as well, because we've obviously had a bit of upheaval with Max being out, but Dan Scar's kind of just come in like he's, been playing every game so far, just really, really good. So, yeah, happy with Arthur, really good, and he even got something on the goal that they scored. Really, put a good block in, but just screamed under him.
And up top, Marriott is still showing his class. Another goal yesterday. Andy, Mullin going down the tunnel at the end of the match with a bit of a huff, maybe? Is he just a professional who really wants to get on the pitch, obviously, and he wants to start, doesn't he? Yeah.
He's frustrated. He didn't see it going. That's twice. It's 2 seasons in a row that he's not been able to hit the ground running, and he was able to get it back last time. But he's now got a serious threat. He's got a serious challenge. Mullin knew last season as soon as he was fit, he was being picked. This season, he's been reduced to bit parts. He's been reduced to
Mm.
15, 20 minutes here and now. I really thought he would have played started one of these 3 games in a week, and he hasn't. And I wonder if he's still searching for fitness, because we said it at the time, minus spinal surgery. What the hell is minor spinal surgery? You don't get minor spine surgery, do you? Oh, yeah, he's got minor brain surgery. It doesn't happen. So he is probably still searching for that match fitness. And he's not getting it through starting because Marriott has been so good. And I think that's a frustration for him. And I also do think he wants to prove himself in League One, because he didn't get there with Cambridge. He came to us. A lot of people said, you sold yourself out. He probably thought to himself, look, I'm a good enough for League One, and I will prove that to them when I get there with Wrexham. He hasn't been able to do that yet. And I think it's just a measure of how committed and professional he is, that he is frustrated with himself. And it will come for him, because he's too good not to have that breakthrough.
And he's too much of a professional, but also he's too motivated, I think, not to allow that to happen. So in many ways, I think we're all hoping that we're sort of sat here Christmas time going like, wow, Mullin is on such good form, because he knows he has to be.
But just one last thing on Mullin. Like, since he's come for us, he hasn't really had a break, has he? He's always here about. He's done all the, been across to America. Maybe this 2 or 3 months is the recharge he actually needs. And maybe he should just let it wash over him a little bit and not be so absolutely lasered on being the main man. The good thing about this squad is you don't have to be. No one is the main man anymore. It is properly a team game, and that's the beauty of having such a strong squad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But this week, Ryan Barnett is the main man.
Oh, definitely, yeah, and
man of the match, rightly so.
Yeah, just
Content.
quickly, just adding to what Andy said about the Mullin thing. I mean, I didn't see him go off the pitch because I was kind of made a sort of hasty retreat on the final whistle, but apparently that's what he did. But could have been a number of things. It could have been feeling ill, could have been anything. So we just assume that it's that. However, on top of that, I think obviously we win. Everybody expects him to do the fist bumps. And I think he's like, oh, well, I didn't really do much today, so I don't really want to sort of take the sort of steam away from the lads, because they really performed. I've just come on, did a bit, had a chance with a header, doesn't really get much on it. But this free weekend we got coming up will benefit him enormously. He will be doing the hard yards on the training ground. He'll be doing the hard yards at home. It's just the way he is. And I dare say I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, we'll come to the game on Tuesday in a minute. But yeah, Rotherham, he'll... I think that's when he's going to be feeling it and whacking a goal in there. So we'll see.
Reese, we've got a guest. Should we get them in?
Let's get the guest in. Why not?
So this guest he's a friend of the pod, been on a few times. It's Barry Jones, I think he's chairman of every sort of group at the moment. He's chairman of the London Reds, the Wrexham Supporters Trust. He's on the fans committee.
Barry, how many things do you chair? We're just discussing this.
2.
Oh.
2. Oh,
No,
yeah,
I'm down to 2. I'm chair of the big one, the Wrexham Supporters Trust. I'm chair of London Reds, which was the original supporters club that myself and a chap called Dave Jones founded. So I'm down to 2 within.
That's manageable.
What we need to do, let's have an appeal. Get Barry another thing that he can chair. Because
I saw it. Pre-match yesterday, I did see you, Barry, sat on a chair in the Magic Dragon in town. I'm pretty sure that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he stayed on that chair long, did he?
It was me.
Barry's here to join us because we want to talk more about the live night, about the Fearless and Devotion on tour in conjunction with the London Reds. But Barry's also had quite an interesting meeting with Wrexham CEO Michael Williamson before the Stevenage match, wasn't it? Wasn't it, Barry? What were your first thoughts about him?
Very impressive. It's for the simple fact that we've had one meeting with Michael Williamson, and we had 0 meetings with Fleur Robinson.
Oh, bombs dropped.
True.
1-0 to Michael.
Yeah. And he was very honest about the shortcomings that the club have had in communicating with the fans, because, for example, the so-called fan zone was just a working title when it was presented to the council. It shouldn't be called that. It, to me, and I went to the fan zone on Saturday, just so when I came on today, I could talk with some authority rather than spouting off without it. Yes, the facilities are okay, but it shouldn't be called a fan zone. It's what you'd expect from a properly run football club.
What should it be called, Barry? Is it like, I don't know, Ticket Plus, or is it sort of like
just sort of I don't know. I'd have it down as Dragons Club or something.
Well, Humphrey said this, didn't he, on our last live night? So it should just be like just enhanced hospitality, really.
Yes.
Dragon's Den.
Yeah, Dragon's Den. Whatever you would. I don't mind what it's called. It is what it is. There we are. That's
okay. All right. It is what it is. Is it worth the tenner?
It is if you can get a ticket, of course.
Right. Okay.
I was sitting just behind 8 Belgian blokes who come from Ghent on a 40th party, and one of them is a Wrexham fan. I mean, that to me is just the most surreal thing that I can't imagine saying that 5 years ago. And they'd come to Wrexham for the weekend, and 8 of them. So to me, that's just.
If that guarantees you a ticket and you know that all 8 can get in, it's worth it, isn't it? Now,
of course.
Now, so a couple of 2 seasons ago, I wanted to get 6 of my London pals in, and it was nigh on impossible to get them in because I had to borrow season tickets. We had to scrape a ticket here, a ticket there. We're all in different stands. I would have loved to have seen those guys watch a match with me rather than me trying to see where they were crossing in another stand. So on that sort of level, if you can guarantee tickets and it's only a tenner extra, which is still a hell of a lot, is still probably what it cost us to go to Leyton Orient, it's probably worth it, isn't it? Barry, can I ask you about the lease? Because I know there's been a few things knocking about, and I know you can't say much, but basically, are you concerned that the club haven't taken the lease up yet? If you can say that much.
I was before the meeting with Michael Williamson. It's no secret that we agreed the terms of the lease after much negotiations and backwards and forwards. And myself and Andrew Edge, who's our lead solicitor from Cae Ras Lease, met Michael Williamson because I wasn't sure about the meeting, to be honest. And he assured me, first of all, he apologised that they should have mentioned it to us. We officially wrote twice to the club to say what's happening. We issued a statement in April to say 3 months, because every time I go to a home or away game, the first question people ask me is, why are you holding up the lease? As if I'm personally responsible. Or if it's not you, Barry Jones, it must be you, the trust. Well, it hasn't been. And the club said we could have communicated that better, and I appreciated that from him. Look, I'm pausing because I want to make sure I get this right. The club have now not signed the lease because when Michael Williamson came in, they are looking again at the COP redevelopment. They will appoint a new architect this week, next week. And because of other things happening at the racecourse, they may need to make certain modifications to the documents we've agreed with them on the collapse of the lease structure. It's all good news for us. It's no secret that they want to, instead of having a 5,500 seat capacity COP, they're looking at 7.5 now.
Wow.
Only because of the developments of our club.
Wow. No, I get that though. I get that because there's still huge demand for ticket. They know that by taking even the temporary stand out of commission for a little bit, it's gonna hurt the club. So if you are going to build a new stand there, and you probably can't go through the whole stands like every season, a season after, it's more of a long term thing. Get the biggest stand you can there, 7,500. What would that take the capacity to? Liam, you like stuff like that? 16,000.
The other thing is the timeline. The timeline has to be by June 2026, because that's the 150th anniversary of the Welsh FA. The Welsh FA are hosting the European Under-19 Championships. Wales have qualified, one of the 8 teams, because we're the host country. We are the main stadium for that, biggest capacity.
And all the grants are linked to that. That would make sense. I
don't know about the grants. It's no secret that the council are getting on a lot better with the club. I mean, that's well documented. There certainly is a different attitude to us. We're seen as partners with them. Admittedly, very junior partners.
Yeah. Would you say that's since Ryan and Rob, or that since has that kicked on again in the last 6 months?
I think that's taken place since May. There's a meeting between the Wrexham Supporters Federation and Michael Williamson that's coming up. May have already been. I sit on the Wrexham Supporters Federation board as a non-voting observer, as chairman of the trust, because the trust and the Supporters Federation are as one, in the sense that Stephen Parrott represents London Reds. I'm there as an observer for the trust. Most of our members, if they're not season ticket holders, they're members of various groups. So we the trust are 840 something members. We represent most of the fan groups, and 10% of our members, of course, are from North America.
Yeah. Right, lads, have you got any questions for Barry on this before we sort of move just to sort of back to match sort of stuff? Sorry, Barry, it feels like question time a little bit here.
No, it's good to get the opportunity to put the trust viewpoint forward. I'd just like to add that we've had a slight change to the trusts. AGM, 2 of our board members stood down. Matty Webber and Matt Davis done sterling work. They've been with 3 new members: Paul Bingham, who's a fluent Welsh speaker; Dan Jones, who's a season ticket holder; and Dale Webb. Great additions. So we're looking at changing our role within people, within who we liaise with. We're moving closer to the FSA, the Football Supporters Association. And in recent months, I've had meetings with the Blues Trust, the Birmingham City supporters, because they've concerns about the way their American owners are treating their fans. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, is all I can say. And in the next few months, you hopefully you'll see some improvements.
Sorry, obviously the club takes quite a lot of pelters on communication, but I've sort of had feedback from some people who I know who are trust members who say they don't really feel in the loop at the moment with what's going on with the supporters trust, and what is the future direction? What can be done to improve that?
We need a bigger social media presence. We now have someone on board that the board who can actually raise the competency of our offer in terms of to our members. They've been incredibly loyal, and with the lease, partly is for legal reasons. We can't tell you every twist and turn. Of course we can't, but we can do better. And all I can say is we will do better. watch this space. Our website, our communication hasn't been brilliant.
Are you going to get TikTok, Barry? Is that what you're telling us?
Not me personally. I'm not on a lot of the social media because, as you can understand, there's some unfounded criticism. I don't mind criticism, and I appreciate, Liam, you saying that, yeah, we haven't done enough. But when it's just personal abuse, well, you know, for the record, none of the board members takes a penny in expenses. We don't get paid. There's no dividend. There's nothing. So everybody's doing it for the love of the club. We've done it. The people who've gone before us. So I'm happy to defend our role in terms of our remuneration. And if you don't like it, please come on board. Please stand for join the trust, join the board, and do what you're criticising us for. Please do.
Well, there
please
we go.
take over as chairman. You know.
Yeah, I mean, two's too many. You know, you're trying to retire, aren't you, Barry?
I am indeed.
Barry, just in terms of the sort of trust role moving forward, one thing people have said to me is, do we need sort of a fans, like sort of a campaigning voice almost? Because we talk about things like the quote unquote fan zone and, issues that the occasionally fans have around tickets. Do you think there's room there for the supporters trust to move more into that sort of role?
There is. I don't want to step on the shoes of the Supporters Federation, which represents the 20 Reds groups. Oh, sorry, and the Wrexham Association Football Club Supporters Club. But we are aligned as two organisations. All I can say is, if you're one of the 90-something North Americans who are members of our group, we are the only official group you've got to give you access to the club. And so it's up to us to be more engaged with the club. And I take that on board as a legitimate, criticism, helpful suggestion, whatever you want to call it. We're up for that.
Barry, do you think you need to get this lease sorted before you do that, though? Because there's interests at play at the moment, isn't there? With you've got something that the club really need. There's a financial transaction there. It's almost like once you've got that out of the way, you're not sort of legally bound in any ways, and maybe you can be a more critical friend.
Of course. There's this elephant of £187,000, which is coming to the trust, which is what we've agreed with the club. How that is then distributed to the good causes, certainly the miners' welfare. The miners' rescue centre. We'll get a chunk of that. That's been agreed, but we can't do anything till we get the money. And also, there's no point in making big promises and plans to people. One, before we've consulted our members, but second, until we've actually got the money and it's signed off. We've been in the difficult position of being bound legally, and also because of the constitution of what we are. We've had to be very careful. I've come on here last time to explain how it's not like, oh, just give them the lease or just whatever. We just can't do it. And it's to the credit of our legal team advising me and the rest of the board to say, oh, hang on a minute, you've got to make sure we do this. It's everything from electing board members. We've got to go through due process. If not, we are liable.
Yeah.
We are personally liable.
Right, you mentioned it, Miners Rescue Centre. So we're going to do a live night. Hopefully, Tim, can you put the link for tickets up under YouTube, and Reese, can you do it on Spotify, and we'll do another run on social as well. So 25th, myself, Tim, and maybe a shock Reese. We're not sure about this yet, but he's verbally confirmed. In my mind, we have a verbal contract.
Okay.
That he's going to be coming down as well. We've got two guests already booked in, Glenn Little and Barry Joe. Oh, sorry, you probably will.
I'll be there anyway.
You probably will be saying a lot. Glenn Little and Danny Wright. And the good thing about Glenn Little is he literally interviews himself. So you just ask him one question and then he'll just regale us with loads of stories about the house. We're hoping to get other people on board as well. It's going to be a good, fun night before one of our biggest games of the season. Barry, looking forward to it. It's nice to do these things every now and again, isn't it?
It's superb. It's the night before the Charlton game. We've got merchandise. We've got an auction. We've got a raffle. We've got there's all sorts going on. The last one we had when Humphrey Care came, it was great. The documentary crew turned up and filmed us, which is why people saw me on episode 18 of series 1.
What minute of the episode?
Of an 18 rating, that one.
I know, it's a horror story. me on the video, and of course the previous one we had before was the legendary Declan Swan's gig before the Grimsby game at the FH Trophy. So it's going to be a really good night. Wrexham Lager on, range of Brains beers and Tiny Rebel and Winter the Rye cider, you name it. It's the Welsh Centre, Gray's Inn Road, 10-minute walk from King's Cross. There we are.
Superb.
So
Got me buzzing, Barry. You're better salesman than the rest of us.
Thank you.
Shall we talk, Barry, as you were there on Saturday, we were about to talk about, there was some talk online that the atmosphere was a little bit flat. Is that something that you thought as well?
I think you're right. It wasn't as hyped up as it has been in previous games. I don't know why.
Anyone got any thoughts?
The Northampton following, they were quite, boisterous. 1,200 and something of them. We were always comfortably in charge of the game. I know they equalised, but I never felt we were in any danger of losing it.
No.
Brian Barnett was outstanding. McClean, of course, was his usual provocative seller. We were just really good. I felt that Paul Mullin's not as much sharp. The header at the end last season, he just scored that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's building his way back up, isn't he?
Yes, no, he just. I hope they play him on Tuesday for the full 90 minutes.
Absolutely. Liam, what about you? The atmosphere, could you put your finger on it?
I think it's almost like, I know they equalise, but it is almost that thing of lack of jeopardy. I do think there is an expectation almost among the crowd now of, come and entertain us. We're here to be entertained. We're used to winning. Phil Parkinson's home record is obscene, and that's perhaps why gradually I've come round to the view of people who go to more away games than people like me do, and I'm like, I can see why there's that slight frustration, that night and day type of thing. So I do wonder, though, in terms of the atmosphere, is it just that thing of people the expectancy is always there? Also, I thought the atmosphere was slightly calmer in PG2 because the linesman on our side was very good. I asked him if he could come back every week, and he seemed to like that. So fingers crossed.
Excellent. Tim, there's some talk of safe standing in the tech end. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Well, obviously the whole thing came out a few weeks ago about please stop standing. We're going to get fined, this, that, and the other, and it doesn't comply with health and safety, etc., etc. So a bit of a kind of like mini warning, if you like, but probably the club have to be seen to be doing something like that, no doubt. But by all accounts, one of my friends, I don't know how much I should say on it, but apparently he's been told on good authority that Rob McEnany is quite keen to get some safe standing up and running fairly imminently to kind of like offset that kind of little mini threat, if you like. So if it can be implemented in 2 of the tech end blocks, where most of the 12th man sing and stand, and Manny with the drum and etc., where the large majority, if not all of them, stand, and if some sort of rail seating or safe standing can be put in there as almost like a tester to what would come onto the cop at some stage in the future, then it could conceivably happen. I'm sure if that is true, they're probably exploring that possibility, and then that keeps that particular wolf from that door, I guess. So watch this space. And I don't know much more on that. I just know that there's been a couple of polls canvassing feedback to then feed those results back as to what people think about it. So that's about all I know at the moment. But it's a starting point for something that has always been topical, really.
Yeah. Definitely worth keeping an eye on it. Thanks for that. Andy, so we're 10 games in now, and that's usually the point where everyone kind of says you can start making judgments about things. So 10 games in, 20 points, how are we situated, do you think? And what kind of return do we want to be getting on the next 10, which basically takes us up to Christmas?
We're a lot better than I thought we were going to be. I think the transition this period, this season has been a lot smoother than last season. I think the coming back early from the away tour has really helped that. But I also think this squad is used to winning. Especially at home, it's got the mindset where it goes out and it thinks it's going to win. And I think that's really the whole 20 points. We've won every home game. That's the real sort of bedrock of this. And there will be a time where we don't win it, where we do go through a little bit of a dodgy spell, even at home. And I think that's where you need your away form to really sort of kick in. Now, there's been a couple of good high-profile results. I'll always remember Peterborough and the chants and things like that. Brilliant day. But it was very much a rope-a-dope sort of way to do it, which is, as we just discussed earlier, it's inviting the pressure and hoping that you can soak it up and maybe hit him on the break. And it's completely different to how we play at home. And I think I'd like those two to level up over the next 10 games. And even if we have a go and lose, I'm happier with that. So, for example, Stevenage, me and Barry were there. We didn't really lay a glove on them, and it was very frustrating to how we have been playing and did play on Saturday. And to be honest, even if we go there and have a go, but lose by 2 or 3, I'd rather have that, because at least we're keeping the same sort of momentum and the same tempo home and away, and eventually it will come off because they'll get used to playing that way. So I think there's just too much of a mindset, and I know it's not really what your question was. I'm just gone back to what I said earlier, and but 20 points is great. It's a lot better than I was expecting. The next 10 games, I would say, are harder, but we thought the start was hard. We thought going away to Bolton and Birmingham was hard, and we've managed to make it look, apart from Birmingham, relatively easy. And the next sort of thing is, will people work us out, especially away from home, where they know we'll sit back and they'll be able to sort of maybe blow us away unless we change tack a little bit there. At home, we're imperious. We're fantastic, and the likes of Barnett and Ollie Palmer as well. At home, he is fantastic. He's such a focal point. Away from home, I feel a little sorry for him because he's having to chase it a lot more. But at home, he is a big part of why we're so successful. Sorry, it's a really long-winded answer. Have you got what you wanted there? Because I'm not sure I answered it.
I've got plenty to work with there. Thank you.
I think the atmosphere at home will improve if we go, say, 1-0 down.
Yeah, you're right.
I think the team,
they need us. They need us more.
I think that's when the fans will rise, will up their game.
Yeah.
And at present, it's like, oh, great, we're 1-0 up. Oh, we're going to win this.
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of spectacle, opposition, and sometimes the time of the day come into it. Been working all day. The Tuesday night matches are sometimes a little bit flat, but I mean, it's an unfair comparison, but it's still the sort of same point. Is that I watched some of the Villa games today, and it was literally like a library. And you compare that to the European night like they had 4 days ago. It's chalk and cheese. It's night and day. So I think sometimes it depends on the opposition we've got. And there is the kind of element of we kind of expect it to happen. And Barry's right, and you can chart that back to Boreham Wood when they scored that opening goal, and everybody just raised the roof. And we always seem to sort of back the team more when it suddenly goes against the grain at home, which is very, very rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. All good points. Let's look ahead now. Let's rattle through this. So Tuesday night, Bristol Street Motors versus Wolverhampton Wanderers under 21s. And there'll be no game next Saturday due to international call-ups from the Lincoln City squad. So a chance for as we've already discussed a little bit, an outing for some players. Cough, cough. Paul Mullin, Barry, do you think? Try and give him 90?
I wouldn't done a second guess Phil Parkinson, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't start or stay on for at least 70 minutes. He needs it.
Yeah,
He
he
just
does.
he's fit. He's just not much sharp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chicken
So
and
hopefully we'll
egg
see
there,
Paul-
isn't it? Because he's not going to get match sharp unless he plays.
Exactly.
The other thing I would say is you've got to look away from home at something a little bit different. And if Ollie is chasing a lot and it's not really suiting his game, who can come in and really take that mantle? Well, it can't really be Fletcher, because we all know he's a 20-minute and he's great for those 20 minutes. But to start him, after when he gets tired, he brings those little flicks and tricks out, and they don't really work with the caliber of player he has alongside him. So I'm looking for Fowl to have a game, and I'm looking for him to have a start, get some confidence, and maybe be that difference away from home, because he seems to have everything, doesn't he? He's huge, he's quick, he's young, he's energetic. He just needs to put all that together.
Yeah. What's the chance we're going with for Fowl, Tim? Do we have one yet?
I came up with something ages ago, but I can't remember what it was.
Neither can I, but it was good. I remember. Obviously,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not going to be that dissimilar, the starting lineup to the Salford one when Mullin and Fowl.
Will we see Josh Adam?
Yeah, hopefully him as well. He's been working his way back to fitness. It's just that was the last signing, and we kind of feel like he's dropped off a cliff a bit.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And of course, I don't know whether we discussed this last week. No, we wouldn't have done, because we know how long George Evans is out for now. We know it's months rather than weeks because he's had ankle surgery. So would probably be a good time to rotate that midfield. Obviously Dobson's getting through an awful lot of minutes, isn't he? So will be a bit of rotation there. James Jones could come back in. Do we think? Yeah. No one cares about this cup today, so
I'm going. I've paid my £10.
Have you? Oh, well done, Liam. You're a model supporter.
It's mostly just to get out of the house, but
Yeah.
I won't be coming up from London for that one.
Of course. Well, look, let's do our predictions anyway. And we've only got this one game to do, obviously, in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. So let's do predictions for the Wales games as well, shall we, Tim? I know you're going to both, aren't you?
I am. I'm still fuming that you glossed over the 10 games that I listed and painstakingly wrote out.
Well, I thought we could still do that we'll still do that next week, because we wouldn't have played the league game.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Fair point. Yes. We'll come to the Iceland and Wales games in a minute. Shall we do the preview for the Wolverhampton Wanderers under-21s game?
Okay, I guess we'll do the under-21s there. I know the Wolverhampton Wanderers under-21s intimately, and they're rubbish. So I'm going to say 2-0 Wrexham.
Wow. The first time you don't sit on the fence and be negative. It's against a bunch of kids in the Midlands. Love it.
Andy, do you want to go next?
Again, I'm intimately aware of all the ins and outs of Wolves under-21s, and I've heard they're brilliant compared to their first team counterparts who are stinking up the Premier League at the moment. Does that striker we sold them, Bradley, something?
Bradley Reed. He's just gone back into the. He's just gone back to the. I can't remember which division it is, the Welsh structure, but he's joined a club in North Wales with his where his brother plays. He hadn't actually played football for a few years. So no, Andy, Bradley Reed will not be playing.
He looks completely different as well.
He was the only one I knew.
Yeah.
He's not under 21, Andy.
I was going to say he's definitely not under 21.
He's not even under 31.
All right. Look, we're experienced. Even his second string has still got a lot of experience, and it's also got some players with a point to prove. I'd like to see Brunt play. I do sort of think that maybe we need him in the back three, as he is very much a natural sort of max replacement. O'Connell's not done anything wrong, nothing wrong at all, and Scar's been great since he's come in. But I just wondered, do you need that extra bit of pace away from home? So I'd like Brunt to play. I'd like to see how he does and how he sort of comes in. But Tim, why are you laughing?
Oh, it's just something for Lewis Brunt, and it's bugging me who he reminded me of, and I just think he looks a bit like an ostrich. I don't know why. It's just got a funny shaped head. So yeah.
That's awful.
Anyone wants to stick Lewis Brunt as an ostrich? I know he can't help it, but it was just bugging me for ages. Like, he's
Can't
on
be
behind
bury
me.
his head in the sand about that, Tim, can he?
It's like a squashed version of Blaine Hudson. Crossed an
Someone
ostrich.
said behind me said that Dobson looks like an orc the other week. I was like, oh, that's a bit harsh.
He doesn't look like an ostrich.
You not think?
Did I actually say? Did
I don't
actually
think
say
so.
what I
Please
think they-
comment on the YouTube video if you think that Lewis Brunt looks like an ostrich. Let us know. I don't think so, Tim.
I'm glad to say I've joined such an intellectual discussion.
Yeah, that to be fair, we've
Fantastic.
been looking for a new weekly feature for ages.
Yeah,
you know,
we could do
something
something,
to make it interesting. It could be ostrich or
Is there an
you know,
email
ostrich
address
and
we could use for people to
Yeah.
send their answers to?
No, there isn't. No, there isn't. There's none at all. Right,
Right,
I haven't done my
Andy,
score yet.
I'm loving your fulsome answers. What's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1.
Thank you, Tim. Please don't take as long as Andy did. What's your prediction?
I'm not. It's just 2-0 Mullin double.
Lovely, Liam.
Ooh.
Oh, everyone's robbing my predictions. I was going to go 3-1, Mullin to get 2 goals, so I'll stick with that.
Nice, Bazza.
3-1. Mullin will score at least one.
Let's go.
He's a lot to prove.
Let's hope so.
His current sharpness, nothing else he's got to prove. Just how sharp he is.
Okay. Let's hope that's true. Next weekend, then there's no football, as mentioned, for Wrexham, but there's 2 very important games for Wales on the Friday night and the Monday night. I'll be at the Monday night game. Tim, you will be in Reykjavik on Friday, won't you?
Indeed, I will. Yes,
Okay.
can't wait. I went there earlier this year. It's great. So yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to Pelamy, as they've now coined it, with his brand of football. He's already sort of put his imprint on it after the first 2 games, and very exciting and gung ho it was too. So yeah, bit of a strange one. Obviously, former Wrexham loan player Joe Allen has been recalled to the fold in the absence of several midfield injuries, most notably Ethan Ampadu. So yeah, looking forward to it. If not, just to wind up all my Swansea and Cardiff supporting mates, because one of those particular teams is rooted to the bottom of the Championship, and we are technically 2 places below them. So yeah, I kind of like that fact. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, excited for the game, excited for the match, and I just look forward to seeing some Wrexham representation in that Wales squad in the years to come. You know, I know Barry mentioned the under-19s Championship. It'd be nice to see some sort of Wrexham representation in there as well, wouldn't it? So you know, long gone the days where we used to have players in the Welsh setup. So hopefully that will be the case. But yeah, excited for the game. Which would lead me on to my next pointless question that I put on the agenda for a bit of light relief.
Yeah, enjoyed this, Tim. You know, we thought we'd end the podcast today with a little bit of fun. And, you know, tell us who is the most Icelandic-looking Wrexham player we've ever had. I'm going to say Danny Wright. That's me done.
That's a good shout. I like that. You've gone for the blonde hair and blue eyes. That is a
Large,
good
blonde,
shout.
blue eyes.
We'll try and get him to do some Icelandic accents on the live night. That'd be interesting. Anybody else? Because I went for Marius Rovda, which I don't know if you can.
I mean,
see.
literally he's from there.
Yeah,
He's not. He's Norwegian, you dolt.
Well, that's similar, isn't it? No,
It's not. It's a
Icelanders.
different country. But I mean, yeah.
Well, I know that, but they're of similar heritage.
Oh God, we're gonna get cancelled at this rate.
who's the
Right.
most ostrich looking?
Yeah, all right. Maybe I got the ostrich wrong, but he reminds me of somebody, and I can't think who. But I had ostrich in my head.
Eddie the Eagle.
Give us your.
Has anyone got any Icelandic?
I'll read out some tweets in a
right.
minute.
I was going to go Blaine Hudson. He's already been mentioned, but
good shout.
I did think Kevin Sharp. Then I thought, well, no one will know who Kevin Sharp
Jesus,
is. So.
that is a blast from the past. Wow.
Sam Dolby.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
A bit more strawberry blonde. You want some sort of what was
They're
the name
not all
that we
blonde.
had? The
He's
keeper we had
currently
on loan.
closer to Iceland than the rest of us are, Sam Dolby. So
Yeah.
Hmm.
Neil Roberts when he had longer hair.
yeah. We're going for the blonde vibe here. They're not Swedish.
How about Martin Chalk? Because he always likes to eat at Iceland.
Oh God.
And on that note,
Last week it was Terry Waite. Now you've been fattest towards Martin Chalk. I don't know what's happening here.
I didn't say fattest. I just
Liam,
think
come
he
on.
likes a frozen bargain.
Liam, you haven't given yours yet. Christ alive.
Sorry, you've completely lost me at Iceland.
That's just like, yeah,
You've lost the plot, haven't you?
awful.
It's not normally this bad, Barry. I think you're the common denominator on this.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Can I give you my Icelandic fact, please? Icelandic and Welsh are the only two languages in Europe that have the hl sound. So when their main beer is called Gull, Gull, but it's pronounced Gullt. And they know
Wow.
you're from Wales because when you go up and ask for a pint of Gullt, they go, "You're Welsh." There we are. That's my cerebral contribution to this.
You
To
brought
try
this
and
one
raise
back
this.
from the gutter.
The bar's
You
just
rescued
gone up.
us. You seriously rescued us there. That's actually a great fact. And I'm going to
Andy
whip it out
Jacks,
all week.
and
So,
mostly Guff.
Gullt. Yeah.
So yeah, a few others. Did you mention Sam Wedgbury? Did somebody shout that?
no.
We've had Sam Wedgbury, obviously with the beard look. Gunnar Nielsen, do you remember him?
Yeah, that was the
Well,
keeper I was
that's-
trying to think of. Then did we have him on loan from City? Was it? Didn't he have a massive
Yeah,
kick?
there he is.
Yeah.
Big hairy beast.
Yeah.
And then what else have we got? Jamie Tolley? Yeah, maybe.
Yes, tall and blonde again.
Ex-goalkeeping coach, obviously Finnish legend.
Yes.
Sam Williams, who's now bulked up to like a massive PT, and he was a skinny lad from Villa. A young Arvin. I don't know if you can see that there. That's a
Yes, Alvin Griffiths. He's
Yeah.
quite.
Yeah, so a young Arvin, and then somebody, Mboto Gorge said I would go Brett Ormerod or Dean Spink. I can see Spink. I'm not sure about
I'm
Ormerod.
not sure. I mean, if Brett Ormerod's your Viking invader, you think you could probably save your village.
Right. On that note, let's bid.
If you can think of funnier segments, please suggest them to us.
Yeah,
Talk
please
at hotmail.com.
give us some decent weekly feature we could use that isn't who's an ostrich and who.
All right. He looks like something, right?
Okay.
I thought he was an ostrich or something, but
Okay.
he
All
looks
right.
like somebody. I don't know.
Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Before people comment, I know my lights are annoying. There's nothing I can do about it. For people listening on podcast platforms, ignore this.
I do
and
something.
Buy tickets.
buy tickets to the live
Thanks.
event, and we'll see you all next week.
See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye,
The
everybody.
Ostrich Town.